remember
What that video is.
this is what the soil used to be like.
Yeah. It's going on YouTube. Anyway.
The stick does go, but it needs some effort because it still is just sand. We're going to counter the clay layer. It'll be about there. Now see right there? It finds it's hard right there. I can't go any further. We've gone that deep. But it had been, okay? So that's why we cultivate. That's why cultivation happens. But this cultivated to there, but we double dug to there. Now as a result of now a season of root growth and water and rain capture, it's going to go down. That hard layer we've hit right about there. After 6 months of growing and water additions, it's going to go down like cheese. It's just not going to stop. You're never going to have to dig this again. Especially if we then take the water and just add you feel how the water absorbs. And all that stuff goes in. Watering can is nicer, but it still is going to give you the idea. We're going to water the initial root zone. We're going to come along and plant some beans.
How long do we need to wait to plant? Or should we wait, or does it matter?
You don't have to wait at all.
Oh, cool.
So now that water is just going to be nice. That water can now be held by all that organic matter we added. The leaves, the char, the wood ash will even hold water, although its purpose is minerals. And you can see the difference in the color. It looks more vibrant, doesn't it? So it is a raised bed because we added air and some materials, but it's mostly a deep bed. Your goal is not just to put topsoil on top of it. You're supposed to about digging deep. Now in the little sticky box, which is over there somewhere, we got some bean seeds in there. And some sticks.
Jamie?
We got about 5 minutes left.
Jamie?
Are there seeds in there?
No, Jamie. Jamie.
Jamie, they're over
Talking
here.
about right here.
Yeah,
We
we got
got
some,
some
plant
already.
some beans.
What is happening over there?
Now, if we were, let's say, I want to show one thing. There's some bamboo sticks in there. Fun. These are tomato plants. Kind of pathetic. Yeah, you give me 5. Good. Tomato plants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how we would plant those tomato plants. Nice and deep. Okay, just beautiful tomato. Aren't they great? Gorgeous. But that distance, about this far apart, on a triangle. Because this plant will fill this space, the root zone here. This here. This plant will fill that. This one will fill this. This is the roots. I'm drawing the circle of the roots going deep. Not competing, going down. So they can be closer together. If we had shallow soil, we wouldn't have this plant. We would have 4. And this space would be open to the sun. So when the sun hits the soil, what happens to the soil?
It dries out.
It dries out. And one of the main limitations of gardening in this kind of environment is I don't have enough land. So we dig deep to hold the water, add all those minerals and all those organic materials down low to hold the water, and then because we have done deep, we add the 5th plant at that triangle spacing so that not only are the roots filling the garden soil, the leaves are as well, covering the canopy closure like this. So it's triangle spacing.
So do you have a really bomb garden
What's that?
at home? Do you have a really great garden?
Not really, not yet. Well, yeah, now I do. In Ethiopia, I do. They're very
Oh.
small because it's a small little place.
Cool.
I tend not to have a whole lot of time to
Yeah.
garden because
You're
I'm
teaching everybody else how to.
elsewhere. Yeah. I'm just taking the cap off so you can see what's going on. This is now the last little trick. Taking a point of a knife, be very careful with this. If you're making a lot of these, you're poking a little hole here. You get a piece of hot wire next to a coal and just poke a little hole in with a hot nail or something. And I'm just going to take, hopefully not so myself. Really drag. I'm going to stab myself. Trying to get a little, there, a little tiny hole, little hole. That's it. Kind of a big hole. You want as small hole as you can, but there's a hole in there. See it? There's a nice, oh, okay, here we go. Next thing is, after you see this, we're going to get that compost tea. Okay, see the hole?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the hole? Okay, that's with pressure, right? What other kind of pressure is there?
Force of gravity.
Very good. Uh-huh. No. Now, where do we want? Where does the plant take in water? And where are the roots?
And the circle.
So we bury this. Put it in there.
Ah,
Leave it in.
that is so
That
snazzy.
That bottle stays in there for the rest of its life. All right, now that's closed. See the still water in there? If I open it, see the water go down?
Yeah.
Now I can slow it down. Speed it up, slow it down. You see that? Can you see that? That's why we use some dirty water, because if it's clean, you can't really see it. So we want people to really be able to see that water's coming out. As long as there's an air bubble coming up, yeah, see it's good, it's dripping. As the plant needs it. When this area gets full of water, the soil is saturated with water, the pressure will equalize and the water will stay in the bottle, even if the bottle's wide open. So then you come along and you have your other, you come along in the morning, and you can come along and you can see the water's leaking up the sides here. You add it in like that. You're adding one right to the roots. And if I see the pond like that, I just back it off. And you can get by with doing that once every other day. And you have this flourishing tomato garden. Another bottle there. So this bottle is, you don't have to have 3 holes either. Just 1 hole is enough. Because once that water goes down, it's going to then find open airspace and spread out like this. Water's going to sink and spread. It's not just going to go in that one direction. It's going to find, it's going to smooth around. So it's going to give water to all those 3 tomato plants, as well as this one. Put another one there.
Would they be higher so the tomato vines can climb?
Oh well, these sticks here, those are the actual plants.
Oh,
Those are vegetation.
so do you have to have anything?
Yeah, well, what we'd have is then you have a stick, 1, 2, 3, 4 sticks on either side, and about this high, and then put a string around like this, kind of box them in, so that when the tomatoes grow, they have someplace to lean against.
Right.
A little bit of a mini trellis. And you don't have to stake every individual one. You can do that. Stick at each one and tie it, or you can do 4 for every 5 and put it out in the string, just to keep it from falling over again. Now, so that's our drip bottle. Now, can someone go get the compost tea on the other side over there? I'll show you that. While we get this little area here. So we're going to take up our tomato plants, because that's all clearly just to demonstrate.
And this also prevents you from overwatering it.
Yeah, because the plant is going to take what it needs. It's going to the water. The soil is going to become wet. The plant will absorb the water as it needs it, and you're going to keep the stem dry, which you want. A tomato and a pepper, and a lot of plants like to have it. Like they have dry stems, but they want wet roots.
So you put one at each triangle?
Yeah, more. Yeah, that's about right.
And that's the only size bottle you need, depending on how
Well,
large your area is?
I would maybe go with a 1 liter bottle. Maybe a better size, just to get all that water in there, and then just let the water come out as it needs. And then be your own judge of when you need to have more. When the leaves plant looking like it's having some stress, you give it some more water. When the quality of the soil increases, with the more organic matter you add, the less water you need, because it's going to be, you're adding a sponge to the sand. This compost and all the organic material you've added, the manure, the leaves, that breaks down, that holds water. When the plant needs it, it draws it into its root system. All right. So if this is then each morning, when your system of compost tea is happening, you're going to get about this much compost tea. Certain richness is still just fresh because it really is only a day old. Not even, it's only a couple of hours old. But eventually that's going to have a certain pungency. But now it smells fine.
Smells like tea.
Yeah. So we're going to add. You want to thin it at least 3 to 1. And then this is what's poured in. And that's going to go. So you're capturing this excess water I've been using, could be old cooking water, hand washing water, other things like that. It doesn't have to be just fresh water. Get the beans. You get the beans.
Got the beans.
Hold on, don't do it. Beans. Blue beans.
Bush beans.
Let's look on the back of the label. These lovely Stark Airs seeds. It says how far between the plants. See what this says here? This is not the scale. What's the spacing? What does it say? 7 centimeters between the plants. And how much? Look at what's that number right there?
50.
50 centimeters.
That doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense at all. Because what they're saying is 50 centimeters. How much is 50 centimeters?
Half a meter.
There, half a meter. That's at least 50 centimeters. That means you plant one every 7 centimeters, and then each row 50 centimeters apart. Okay. Why? Because the package tells you to. Because the package is gearing you towards row agriculture. You plant in rows because it's easier for you to come along and weed and to run your tractor over a row. That's why it's in rows. You don't have any tractors here. You're not going to have any weeds here. So don't worry about how far the rows need to be apart, because you're not going to have rows. You're going to have 7 centimeters apart, which is only about that, about from there to there, all the way throughout the bed. You're going to have a forest of beans. Okay? I like these a little bit wider spacing at first, from thumb to pinky. This. There to there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, triangle. See that?
Cool.
So 4, 3. Now where's this one going to go? 1, 2, 3, 4. See again? 3. Stevie, stand right over the top. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at all the plants you're going to get. I'm actually going to plant these. This is the ones that 1. Somebody else. Grab. You only need a few. Grab. Everyone gets 1. Put 1 seed in each hole. You're going about a knuckle deep. Now we have a little.
Seed? Anybody?
1, 2, 3, 4.
One seed
Seed? Just put them in the hole. Seed? Seed?
Oh, here's the seed.
1 seed a hole? This one.
Here.
There you go. And then don't cover it up until you make sure every.
Is there one seed? Well, I'm sure this. Here.
And what's kind of neat is then, because these are nice white seeds in black soil.
Right there.
So you start with something easy like green beans, tomatoes, You could instead of the we actually don't have tomatoes here, do we? We're actually going to plant some Swiss chard on this side here. So now so you look down, you can see the pattern. See the triangle spacing? You notice that?
Yeah.
So that what's going to same with the tomatoes. You can draw a little circle like this. This is the root growth is going to be like this and this. Same with the leaf pattern. So the leaves are going to cross and form a canopy like this. Maximum sunshine, which we want. That's how plants work. They grab sunshine. But we don't want the sun on the soil because that causes weeds to grow and it causes water loss. The two biggest problems why people don't garden: I don't have enough water, I have too many weeds. Guess what? We just eliminated both those problems because we dug deep. You dig twice as deep, the roots will go deep, will find the air, you will get 4 times as much food per plant, and you'll have 1/3 again as many plants. So you can get literally 400 to 800% more food per meter. So that's why you can do small, close, local materials and grow a bounty of food on a very, very small space.
Where would you put the bottle in the setup?
The bottle, the beans don't. The bottle works more for your individual pepper, tomato,
Okay.
stout plants. You know, beans have such a fibrous root system that it would get in the way. You just do some direct watering. Now, what you can do is come along with your compost tea water and right over the hole. Again, this is in a low water situation. I just drill that. I'm putting water right where I need it to go. Right at the because there's no need for me to be putting water here at the moment, is there? Because there's no plant there. But it's already pretty moist. Everything can put in there. Now you can cover this over. Remember where we are? Just pinch this over. Now in about 2 weeks, come back out here. Hopefully you'll see some beans growing.
If not, you did something wrong. You did something wrong.
Nothing broken. So this is where you can do beans, and then you can do Swiss chard. And again, look on the back of the label. The Swiss chard is going to be this one. Again, this wide spacing. So we're going to
Swiss chard like a leaf.
yes, broad.
It's really good.
Yep. So they